Lucian Freud's sketchbooks. Lucian Freud was one of the most celebrated portrait artists of the late 20th century, with a career that spanned over 60 years. Freud mainly made portraits of those closest to him, his friends, family, and lovers, and of himself. He had a lifelong interest in the human face and body, and became particularly known for his intensely observed and naked portraits. Freud always worked from life. He once said, "I could never put anything into a picture that wasn't there in front of me." Freud, like many artists, used sketchbooks throughout his life as part of his creative process. Sketchbooks can be used to record or draw different ideas, or to experiment with different materials, techniques, or composition. Freud's sketchbooks can therefore provide a fascinating insight into his creative process, how ideas might shift and change, and how finished artworks might have evolved since they were originally planned.
The sketchbooks span Freud's entire life, from adolescence to old age, and therefore allow for an in-depth exploration of his practice on paper. The sketchbooks are well worn and well used. Some of the covers have been torn off. There are pages that are stuck together, pages that have been torn out. There are coffee and paint stains on some of the covers of the sketchbooks. So you get a sense that these weren't pristine objects, but really part of his everyday working life as an artist. Freud would also use his sketchbooks to jot down phone numbers or diary appointments, or even racing tips, and even his personal thoughts on art and on portraiture. Altogether, the sketchbooks become a portal to the creative mind of one of the 20th century's most acclaimed artists. They vary greatly in scale, from a repurposed 18th century accounts ledger to very tiny pocket-sized sketchbooks. When you go to the sketchbooks, this provides further context to the relationship between Freud and his sitters. For Freud, he didn't want to work from models. He preferred to work with people he knew, and getting to know them was part of the process of making the portrait. We know from first-hand accounts of sitting for Freud that it was often a very lengthy and demanding process. Some of the highlights of the sketchbooks are when you happen upon a study for a well-known artwork, such as a painting or an etching, and I think this is really where the sketchbooks reveal his working process. Through the sketchbooks, we get a sense of his experiments with his mark making. It was often through his drawings that Freud would test things out and push the boundaries of his art.
Freud used his sketchbooks in many ways, and they were very important in his creative process and working method, as a preparatory step to his paintings, but also for simply picking up and drawing the people around him. Try using your own sketchbooks in a similar way and see how your own creative processes develop.